It's Tuesday, July 14. I'm Mai Rodriguez for your Midday Report. We'll be giving you the stories shaping the nation at this hour. In the headlines. On the fifth day of the impeachment trial, Vice President Sara Duterte is reportedly coming back to the Senate today. We get the latest from there live. Police form a special task group to probe the fatal shooting of an American marine science professor in Negros Oriental. Tensions remain in the Middle East. Iran vows to block any interference from the United States in the Strait of Hormuz. And in sports, the CEO of Pacquiao Promotions reveals the fight between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather Jr. is still on. The supposed discrepancies found on the paper trail about Vice President Sara Duterte's alleged threats to the president and his family did not affect the affidavit submitted to the Justice Department. That's according to the prosecution's NBI witness who testified yesterday. Hannah T joins us live from the Senate. Hannah, it's day 5 of the trial today. What's the latest at babalik ba si Director Lotok?
Yes, Mai, it's day 5 of the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. At this hour, hinihintay ng Senate media kung posible bang dumating itong si Vice President Sara Duterte dito sa Senate premises because we've received information that she may possibly arrive this afternoon. Pero hindi pa natin masiguro sa ngayon kung siya ba ay sisipot doon sa mismong paglilitis. Pero Mai, ang sure sa ngayon ay posible ring sumulpot din ulit itong si NBI Regional Director Jeremy Lotok kung saan kahapon nga ay sinalang na siya sa trial sa day 4. At tama ka dyan, no, discrepancies were actually found allegedly in some of the National Bureau of Investigation documents presented in the impeachment trial of Duterte, with the defense using them to question the credibility of the Bureau's investigation. During the cross-examination of NBI Regional Director Jeremy Lotok, the defense pointed to differences in docket numbers as well as an apparently altered date stamp on documents submitted to the Department of Justice. The defense argued that these discrepancies raised questions about the paper trail of the NBI's investigation into the VP's alleged threats against President Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza, and former Speaker Martin Romualdez. But Lotok said he could not explain the different docket numbers because they're assigned by the DOJ, while questions about the date stamp should also be addressed to the Justice Department. Despite the irregularities, Mai, Lotok maintained that there were no substantive differences in the content of the affidavits submitted to the DOJ in connection with the NBI's findings. The documents are being presented as the impeachment court continues to hear Article 4 of the Articles of Impeachment, which involves the alleged grave threats and inciting to sedition cases stemming from the Vice President's 2024 public statements. Mai.
Ano ang ibig sabihin nito in terms of how this affects the case of the prosecution? Nabawasan ba ang bigat or the weight of their case against the Vice President?
May tinanong natin si Senate Impeachment Court spokesperson, Attorney Reggie, tungkol kaugnay dyan. Sabi niya, hindi siya makakapagkomento because it's about the merits of the case. Pero mahalaga itong naging pagsusuri kahapon ng both House prosecution and the defense team of the Vice President when it comes to the testimonies of NBI Regional Director Attorney Jeremy Lotok, dahil parte naman yan nung proseso ng nagiging paglilitis ngayon, yung paghihimay ng mga ebidensya kasama yung kanyang salaysay. Mai?
Pumunta naman tayo sa reports, no, na pupunta ulit dyan si Vice President Sara Duterte. May connection ba to sa expected, di ba, na susulpot dyan to testify ang kanyang Chief of Staff na si Zuleika Lopez? At nandyan na ba si Attorney Lopez?
Mai, so far we have received no information yet if Attorney Zuleika Lopez is actually here in the Senate premises already. Pero tama ka dyan, inaasahan kasi natin ngayon na si Lopez yung tatestigo sa Day 5 ng impeachment trial, kung saan, kung matatandaan natin, yung kanyang pagka-contempt or order detained doon sa House of Representatives noong 2024, yung doon din sumulpot itong si VP Sara sa isang controversial na online press conference kung saan doon niya nga sinambit itong ng umano'y banta kay PBBM at sa dalawa pang individual. At yun din yung dahilan kung bakit siya pasusulputin dito sa trial today, because for the House Prosecution Team, it's important na merong salaysay itong si Lopez ngayon sa trial. Ngayon, may inaasahan natin na possibly magsalita itong defense team kaugnay doon sa arrival ng dalawa, no, si Lopez at itong si VP Sara. Pero so far, ang nakikita pa lang kasi natin ngayon ay yung staff ng OVP at wala pa so far presensya ng bise at ng kanyang chief of staff dito sa Senado. Yan yung aantabayanan natin within the hour. Back to you, Mai.
Hana, at itong si Attorney Lopez will be presented by the prosecution as a hostile witness. Ano ang expectations ng impeachment court at ng prosecution? Magko-cooperate ba siya?
May ayon sa ating huling conversation with Attorney Reggie Tonggol, who is again the spokesperson of the Senate Impeachment Court, nasa prosecution yan kung hihilingin na maging hostile witness itong si Attorney Zulaika Lopez. Ibig sabihin, maaari silang magtanong ng leading questions para doon sa paglilitis. So far, we've yet to hear from the prosecution side kung magkakaroon possibly ng cooperation with Attorney Zulaika Lopez. At nung una kasi dito sa nakaraang linggo, nagkaroon tayo ng information that there was a coordination with the OVP doon sa room assignments ng OVP dito sa nangyayaring paglilitis. Aabangan natin ngayong hapon, kung sisipot nga itong si Chief of Staff at magko-comply siya doon sa subpoena ng Senate Impeachment Court. Mai?
Thank you, Hannah T, joining us live from the Senate. Attorney Amado Valdez, former dean of the UE College of Law, says VP Sara's defense team needs to show the context behind her alleged threats to the first couple and the former speaker. Last week, defense lawyer Mark Binluan said the vice president's statements were triggered by a supposed Operation Romanov, which according to her is a plot to eliminate her and her family.
If she uttered that in the context of trying to defend herself or ward away possible harm to her, then she has to prove that. It's actually a matter of proof whether the impeachment court would accept it.
He also said VP Sara's statements alone are enough to prove that she committed betrayal of public trust. The prosecution maintains it has proven there was a threat coming from Vice President Sara Duterte, and typographical errors in NBI documents did not destroy evidence to prove their case. Nasa Senado si Isaiah Mirafuentes ng Abante para sa karagdagang detalye. Isaiah, go ahead.
Yes, Mai, sa ika-4 na araw ng impeachment trial kahapon, kabilang sa mga naging highlight nito, Mai, yung mga typographical errors sa ilang mga NBI documents. Subalit ayon mismo sa prosekusyon, hindi nito nasira ang mga ebidensya laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Threat is a threat. Ito ang ginigit ng House Prosecution Panel. Anila, hindi naapektuhan ng mga typos sa mga dokumento ang bigat ng threat na ginawa ng bise. Kahit sa ang angguloan nila tingnan ay nagbanggit ng pagbabanta ang bise at may tuturing na itong betrayal of public trust na isang impeachable offense. Ayon pa sa prosekusyon, hindi itinatanggi ng depensa na may pagbabantang naganap at mismong si VP Sara ay nagsabing sinabi niya ang mga umano'y pagbabanta. Para kay House Trial Spokesperson Attorney Benjamin Tolosa Jr., isa itong malinaw na ebidensya laban sa bise. May kabilang nga sa mga inaasahan nating haharap sa impeachment court ngayong hapong ito ay si Attorney Zulaika Lopez ng maituturing nga hostile witnesses dahil nga sa pagiging o pagkakaroon nito ng close relationship kay VP Sara dahil nga siya ang Chief of Staff ng Office of the Vice President. At bago nga magsimula ang paglilitis ngayong araw, makakasama natin live ang isa sa mga tumatayong House Prosecutor na si Bicol Saro Representative Terry Redon. Hi Kong, good afternoon po.
Ay, magandang hapon.
Kung first of all muna, unang tanong, ano pong assessment natin sa nagaganap pong impeachment trial? Nasa 5th day na tayo ko.
Okay naman. So pasok pa rin po yung lahat ng mga ebidensya at dokumento na gusto natin pakita. So yung video documentation po ng pagbabanta ay pasok pa rin ho. Subjected na po sa direct tsaka cross ng magkaparehong pong panig.
Yesterday kung as I mentioned din kanina, isa nga sa mga naging highlight yung mga typographical errors in not just one document pero ilang dokumento mula sa NBI. On your own opinion, kung naapektuhan ba nito yung bigat ng mga aligasyon natin against the Vice President?
Wala ho itong epekto. Actually, yung po mga dokumento, karamihan po dito, hindi naman mga dokumento po ni Attorney Lotoc, no? Meron ho dyan, dokumento po ng DOJ, sila ho yung nag-stamp niyan, naglagay po ng mga docket numbers tsaka mga dates. No? So, hindi ho natin masasabing kayang wasakin ito yung kredibilidad ni Attorney Lotoc. Pasok pa rin po yung pong ebidensya on threats, pagbabanta ng pangalang Pangulo.
Tsaka as far as I understand, Kong, no, it's not about the documents, pero dun mismo sa threat na sinabi po ni VP Sara, yun yung tinutumbok ng Article 4. Tama ko?
Tama ho yun. Ang pinaka-importante ebidensya ho, pasok na. Yung pong video press conference na atin pong pangalang Pangulo, andun doon, sinabi niya, kanya pong ipapapatay ang atin pong Pangulo at ang kanya pong pamilya.
Kung I remember din kahapon na mismong si Senator Bam Aquino yung mga nagbanggit na regarding doon sa denial, doon sa pagbabanta nga umano ni VP Sara, kung nabasa niyo mismo yung sagot ng kampo ni VP, meron bang denial na sinabi si VP sa ang kampo niya doon?
Wala hong denial. So, ang kailangan ho talagang pagdesisyonan po ng depensa, una, kung talaga nga ba nag-contract siya ng killer or kung nagsinungaling ba siya doon po sa press conference na yun. Kasi dalawang bagay lang yun, either nag-contract ka ng killer o nagsinungaling ka sa harap po ng taong bayan.
Kung mabilis na lang, no, naalala ko lang, as I remember, nangyari yung parang umano'y pagbabanta was 2024. And during that time, yung NBI director, si Attorney Jaime Santiago, i-invite ba rin natin siya dito? I mean, kasama ba siya as our witnesses?
Tignan pa ho natin, pero tingin ko naman ho, sapat na po si Mr. Calilong at si Mr. Lotoc, no? Para dito po sa resulta ng investigasyon ng NBI.
Are we expecting right now, kung posible daw dumating po si Vice President Sara Duterte, anumang oras dito sa Senado, ano pong masasabi ng prosekusyon? Alam kong matagal na rin nyo itong hinihintay.
Welcome ho sa paglilitis, Madam Vice President.
If ever ba kung inaasahan ba natin na a-attend kaya siya sa trial? Or like last week, parang umuwi before mag-start yung trial?
Well, kung darating po siya sa Senado at sasama ho sa paglilitis, edi malaking bagay po yon. Kasi yan naman ho yung panawagan sa kanya nung umpisa pa lang.
Alright, maraming salamat Congressman Terry Redon, isa sa mga House Prosecutor. At ngayon nga may dito sa Senado, nakaantabay na rin ang lahat ng miyembro ng media and even yung mga security dahil nga sa inaabangan, no, na posibleng pagdating ni Vice President Sara Duterte. At ito, may ilang mga guests na tayo nakikita nga dumarating dito sa ngayon. At yan, marami ng mga paparating ng mga guests. I'm not sure if they are coming from the defense team. Pero hopefully, no, 1 hour pa naman o ilang minuto pa bago magsimula ang ikalimang araw nga ng impeachment trial. Pero based on our source, as of now, wala pa tayong impormasyon kung nasa Senate premises na ba si Vice President Sara Duterte. Yes, yung mga dumarating mga ito ay mga mula sa prosecution team, yung mga nakikita natin. Ito isa to sa mga supporters ng prosecution team. So we're still waiting for some members of the defense team. Yung prosecution nasa loob na, kumpleto na sila lahat before. I mean, yung ilan sa kanila nandito na nakita na nga natin. And some of them ay nagsagawa na rin ng press conference kanina. Balik mo na sa iyo, Mai.
Alright, 45 minutes na lang, mag-uumpisa na ang day 5 ng trial. Maraming salamat, Isaiah Mirafuentes, live mula sa Senado. Prosecution panel spokesperson Robert Ace Barber says OVP Chief of Staff Zuleika Lopez has no legal right to decline the subpoena of the Senate Impeachment Court. He tells BNC is on point. The court has compulsory powers that must be honored and respected. He says Lopez may be cited in contempt if she fails to appear before the impeachment court.
I believe na-approve yung subpoena kay Attorney Lopez, no? And she cannot not attend, no? Merong compulsory powers kasi yung court, eh. And in one of that is to compel, no, a witness to attend. So there's no reason unless, no, the court will allow you not to attend. Example, merong valid reason or the schedule was abrupt, that the witness is not able to prepare.
Lopez was compelled to appear before the court on July 13 and 14 to provide material testimony related to the alleged grave threats of Vice President Sara Duterte to President Marcos and his family. Health reform advocate Dr. Tony Liachon says he's relieved following the resignation of Health Secretary Ted Herbosa, who was accused of being involved in irregularities that transpired during his term. In an interview with the spokes, Liachon still says Herbosa has strong political clout.
I think he's well connected.
Ganun.
Basically, hindi na siya naging health secretary. Parang political ang dating eh. Because one, ang tingin ko, my analysis is that he has a fraternity, yung Upsilon Sigma. And you know naman the people.
Upsilon Sigma.
Oo. So mabigat yung grupong yun. Okay. Number two, ang nakita ko, nabigyan siya ng malaking budget yung MAIPIP, yung Medical Assistance Program, which is actually nakuha yung budget ng PhilHealth eh. That's 53 billion eh.
Okay.
So this is the patronage politics. So if you're the legislator, you want your constituents na may sakit, doon kumukuha.
Siyang implemento.
Siyang implemento. Naging powerful yung MAIPIP na yun eh.
Liachon is now hoping Executive Secretary Ralph Recto will be the one to step down next.
Ngayon, ang tingin ko, sorry re-reiterate ko, dapat Secretary Recto should go. Kasi na-reiterate ko na eh. Unang-una, siya nag-orchestrate nung paglipat eh. Nung siya
May libel case ka, di ba? Siya kinakasuhan ng libel ngayon.
Hindi.
Hindi, wala.
Ako nag-file ng... Hindi, ako nag-file ng ombudsman.
Mga kababayan, siya lang po. Hindi kayo madadamay dito. Kami nagtatanong lang. Siya lang po ang malilitsyon. Hindi po kami.
Hindi.
Siya malilitsyon.
Hindi.
Hindi tayo.
Hindi.
What those? Yeah.
Hindi, sorry, tinatanong lang naman eh. Kasi hindi naman to something na...
Yeah.
We're talking here for the country. And right man for the right job. So, ang tingin ko, kaya nag-i-slide po ang ratings ng Pangulo. Kasi may mga pabigat pong mga gabinete.
In other news, the military highlights its system of succession to keep operations running during leadership changes. Lade Kabagani is on the line for the details. Lade, go ahead.
Yes, Mai, the armed forces of the Philippines assured the public that there will be no leadership vacuum, despite any changes in its top leadership, such as the retirement of incumbent military chief General Romeo Browner Jr. on July 21. AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel Margaret Padilla said the military has established protocols to ensure the continuity of command at all levels. She explained that when a permanent official has yet to assume a position, an officer in charge is immediately designated to perform the duties of the post. According to the AFP, this system has long been in place from the highest level of leadership down to ground units, ensuring that operations would continue without disruption. The military also stressed that its personnel operate under established doctrines, rules, regulations, and rules of engagements which remain in effect regardless of changes in command.
Hindi po nagkakaroon ng leadership vacuum ng Armed Forces of the Philippines. We always have an officer in charge kapag po may mga instances na hindi pa po, kumbaga full-fledged, nakaupo sa positions. It happens from the top level down to the ground units. That's how it is. And our stand remains the same. So lagi po may continuity of effort po ang Armed Forces of the Philippines. Yung mga set rules and regulations, rules of engagement, all of those things, lahat po kami by doctrine. So kahit po meron pong change of command and positions, there will be no leadership vacuum.
The AFP also reiterated that it's
There. All right, we'll try to get Lade Kabagani for that report. Meanwhile, authorities are investigating the killing of a 73-year-old American marine science professor who was shot dead inside his residence in Cibulan, Negros Oriental. For the details, we have Joash Malimban. Joash, Professor Kent Carpenter's research has been praised. It contributed greatly to efforts to protect the Verde Island Passage. What do we know so far about his killing?
The Police Regional Office in the Negros Island region has formed a special investigation task group to probe the fatal shooting of American marine science professor Kent Carpenter in Cibulan, Negros Oriental. Carpenter, whose research made significant contributions to the scientific understanding and conservation of the Verde Island Passage, was shot dead inside his residence in Barangay Ajong late Sunday night. Based on the initial police investigation, 3 still unidentified male suspects forcibly entered the house at around 11:30 p.m., while Carpenter and his 34-year-old Filipina companion were watching television. Authorities said one of the suspects, armed with a handgun, shot the 73-year-old professor in the head, killing him. His Filipino companion was also injured during the attack and is currently undergoing medical and forensic examinations. Police have since activated a Special Investigation Task Group, or SITG Carpenter, which will lead the case build-up, intelligence operations, evidence processing, and efforts to identify and arrest the suspects. Forensic examinations are also underway, while investigators are reviewing possible CCTV footage, interviewing witnesses, validating intelligence information, and reconstructing the movements of the suspects before and after the shooting. Police are also urging anyone with information that could help the investigation to immediately contact the nearest police station or the Cibulan Municipal Police Station, assuring that all information provided will be kept strictly confidential. Mai.
Joash, have we heard from Professor Kent's family? And how are the police pursuing the suspects? What are the leads so far?
So far, wala pa tayong interview dito sa family ni Dr. Kent. Pero nakausap natin yung ilan sa mga organizations na nakatrabaho niya na before with regards especially dito sa Verde Island Passage. Marami sa kanila yung talagang nabigla raw dun sa nangyaring insidente, lalo na't hindi nila inaasahan na ganito yung sasapitin ni Dr. Kent. Pagdating naman doon sa police investigations, sinabi nila na ayaw nila magbigay ng assumptions or presumptions dito sa motivation nga ng pagpatay kay Dr. Kent. But they assured the public that they will pursue this with the whole government approach kasama yung ibang mga agencies nang sa gayon ay matunto nila yung mga suspect at ma-identify kung ano nga ba talaga yung cause nung nangyaring pagpatay. Mai.
We are following this story very closely. Thank you, Joash Malimban, for that report. Up next, the Energy Department says oil prices remain volatile after today's hefty increase in diesel and kerosene. The details after the break. Stay tuned to Midday Report. We're back on Midday Report. The family of an 8-year-old grade 4 student from Cavite who died after a routine school deworming activity is now seeking the help of the National Bureau of Investigation. As they push for a thorough probe, the boy's parents say they are determined to file charges against those who may be found responsible for their son's death. Andrea Salve joins us for the details. Andrea, go ahead.
The parents of the grade 4 student who died after a routine deworming activity at the school have formally sought the assistance of the National Bureau of Investigation to determine what led to their son's death. Accompanied by the Volunteers Against Crime and Corruption, Leo and Ruchi Mission went to the NBI Homicide Division on Monday to request an investigation into the case. The boy's father said they are also asking for an autopsy to establish the exact cause of their 8-year-old son's death.
Ganun din po yung principal, ganun din ang paliwanag. Na wala naman daw may gusto na patay yung anak ko. Eh paano, thank you na lang yun pag pumapayag ako ng ganun.
He maintained that his son had no pre-existing illness before taking part in the deworming activity at Hugo Perez Elementary School Annex in 13 Martires City on July 2nd. Nishon said that while the school required parents to sign a waiver about 2 weeks before the activity, they were never informed that the deworming would actually take place on July 2nd.
Nagulat nga po ako, ma'am eh. Ganun nangyari sa anak ko eh. Napakalakas nun bro, pagka-Biyernes. Patay na po eh. Masakit, ma'am eh.
The grieving father said their family is prepared to file charges if the investigation finds that negligence on the part of the school or any other responsible party contributed to their son's death.
Kung talagang mapatunayan po na yung gamot po ang eh di po ako papayag na lang po, na ariglo lang po, pagbabayaran po nila yung ginawa sa anak ko.
Earlier, the Department of Education said the student's death was caused by an infection that led to septic shock. Initial findings also showed that several other students became ill following the same deworming activity. The DepEd says it is now reviewing its health and safety protocols while health authorities continue their investigation into the circumstances surrounding the student's death. And that's the latest here at the NBI. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you, Andrea Salve, reporting. Global oil prices remain volatile due to the developments in the Middle East. Pump prices went up again this morning with diesel increasing by over 4 pesos per liter. Che Sulit is on the phone for more. Che, are we expecting more increases in the coming weeks?
Mai, today downstream oil companies have implemented another round of jumbo fuel price hikes. With them releasing their official advisories on Monday, they confirmed an increase of 4 pesos and 60 centavos per liter for diesel, 1 pesos per liter for gasoline, and 2 pesos and 30 centavos per liter for kerosene. The adjustments reflect movements in the international oil market last week. Energy Secretary Sharon Garin said global oil prices remain volatile amid continuing developments in the Middle East. Oil prices have also jumped following the latest outbreak of hostilities between the United States and Iran, renewing concerns over the security of shipments passing through the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for global oil supply. Garin said that if the volatility continues, the DOE may stop issuing a wide range of projected price adjustments as early as next week. Instead, the agency may provide motorists with a more specific estimate to give clearer guidance on expected price movements. The Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry said the uncertainty in fuel prices is already adding to the pressure faced by businesses. PCCI Vice President for Trade and Industry Brian Ang noted that companies are also bracing for the impact of the 85 peso minimum wage increase in Metro Manila and the possible rise in electricity costs in the coming months. Ang said the business sector hopes the government has enough safeguards in place to protect the country's energy supply, especially as tensions and threats to shipping persist around the Strait of Hormuz. As to whether pump prices will rise again next week, it is still too early to say. The DOE's initial projection will depend on the remaining trading days in the Mean of Flat Singapore or MOPS, the benchmark used to price petroleum products in the Asia Pacific. The final data will be available after Friday's trading. For now, oil industry players expect price volatility to continue, as any disruption to supplies passing through the Strait of Hormuz could push global oil prices even higher. The Philippines also remains under a national energy emergency as the government continues to monitor the global supply situation. Economic managers are also studying whether to suspend the excise tax on fuel after Dubai crude prices fell below the $80 per barrel threshold set under the train law. That's the latest from my end. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you, Che Sulit, reporting. An anti-mining group points to mining as the cause of flooding in Palawan. But mining firms counter this. They also explained how they're taking part in environmental rehabilitation. This report from Maika Razon.
Mining has been blamed by Alianza Tigil Mina or ATM for the muddy floodwaters seen in Palawan. But mining companies disagree. They say siltation ponds store runoff waters from their operations and prevent damage on communities.
Sa kulay lang po yan ma'am. Sa water runoff po, kung napapansin nyo po, yung unang pinuntahan natin kanina, so lahat ng tubig po during tag-ulan dito po yung babagsak.
Actually, I validate po yan ng Volunteer Park monitoring team. So, kung kaya naman sila doon na hindi naman issues lang talaga kahit mayroong disturbance o wala. Kung may mga open areas, kung nagulan, ay talagang kakalo talaga namin. Kahit sa Puerto Princesa po nagkaturoon loration natin.
So what really happens inside the mine? The process starts with a Mineral Production Sharing Agreement, or MPSA, which gives a company the right to operate in a specific area. Next, exploration, where mineral deposits are identified. Here comes extraction, the most controversial stage, cutting trees with the necessary permits from the DNR begins. Then, minerals are extracted, while waste materials are segregated.
Yung limonite, mas pinaprocess siya para sa steel making. Yung saprolite, dahil mababa yung iron content niya, mas priority yung process niya para sa materials, para sa energy, mga bateryas.
When mining is complete, rehabilitation begins. Trees are replanted to help restore the area.
Yung Palawan ay sinasaklaw ng iba't ibang batas. Katulad ng Strategic Environmental Plan for Palawan, RA 7611, na nagsasabi ng lahat ng natural na gubat ay core zone or areas of maximum protection. At dahil dyan, hindi mo talaga pwedeng sirain ang natural na gubat.
While Palawan is protected by several environmental laws, the Philippine Mining Act of 1995 also allow mining operations, provided companies comply with government requirements. So the question now, if mining stops, what happens to the industries and communities that depend on it? But if it continues, what will be the long-term cost to the environment? For Midday Report, Mai Rodriguez, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Bilyonaryo News Channel is among this year's awardees of the Million Trees Foundation Incorporated, which advocates for the restoration of critical watersheds. Erica Christensen is on the line for more. Erica, go ahead.
My Bilyonaryo News Channel was honored with the Tinig ng Kalikasan Award for Responsible Environmental Journalism as the 2026 Annual Million Trees Challenge, or AMTC Pledge of Commitment, has just concluded. The event brought together government agencies, local government units, private sector partners, environmental advocates, and volunteers to reaffirm their commitment to protect the country's forests and watersheds. The ceremony included the signing of a memorandum of agreement, the recognition of institutional partners, and the presentation of awards to organizations that have made significant contributions to environmental conservation. Among those awardees are DENR, Grunfos Foundation, Netflix Philippines, San Miguel Corporation, and Maynila, just to name a few. Stakeholders also formally pledged their support for the 2026 Million Trees Challenge, reinforcing a shared commitment to expanding reforestation efforts nationwide. Launched back in 2017 by the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System and now led by the Million Trees Foundation Incorporated, the initiative aims to restore critical watersheds through the planting and long-term nurturing of native trees to improve water security, biodiversity, and climate resilience. According to MTFI founder and chairman emeritus, retired General Reynaldo Velasco, the program has already planted and nurtured more than 13.1 million trees across 7 critical watersheds, and their goal actually by 2030 is to reach at least 20 million trees. But he also emphasized that success should not be measured by the number of trees planted alone, but more importantly by the forests that continue to grow and sustain future generations. Meanwhile, MTFI President and Executive Director Melandro Velasco said the foundation's mission goes beyond tree planting, focusing as well on watershed rehabilitation, environmental education, and empowering communities to become active stewards of the environment through strong partnerships among government, business, and civil society. As the 2026 pledge ceremony comes to a close, organizers say their goal is not only to plant more trees, but to cultivate a lasting legacy of environmental protection for generations to come. Mai?
Thank you, Erica Christensen, for that report. Up next, South African police are investigating the death of soccer player Jaden Adams. More sports headlines plus the latest world news and the weather after the break. Stay tuned. Iran insists it will not allow the United States to control the Strait of Hormuz. Iran warned that any country helping U.S. military operations in the area would be treated as taking part in a war. Iran also said it will continue to manage the strait and accused the U.S. of threatening regional security. This comes after President Donald Trump said the U.S. is reinstating a blockade on Iran and will guard the waterway. Trump also said Washington will charge a 20% fee on cargo passing through the strait and wants Gulf allies to help pay for its security efforts.
And we're not going to put it up. Yeah, I want to be reimbursed because we're protecting a very rich portion of the world. We're spending money. And so what we've done is we are going to be reimbursed for protection. We're protecting by the countries that we're helping.
In California, two rare corpse flowers bloomed at the same time at the Huntington Botanical Gardens, drawing large crowds. The corpse flower is an endangered plant native to Indonesia that blooms only once every 2 to 3 years. Each bloom lasts only 24 to 48 hours, making it a rare event.
We want people to interact with conservation in a fun and exciting way. So the corpse flower is amazing. People call out of work, call in sick just to come check this flower out.
I've been wanting to see the corpse flower for like years now, and I was like, I have to see it because I don't know when I'll get another chance, honestly, you know.
The flower is known for its strong, rotting odor, which attracts insects that help pollinate it.
I think people are just curious to see how smelly it actually is. That's the first thing we always get asked is, what does it actually smell like? Or does it really stink that bad? And yes, it does smell really bad, and it smells almost like a dumpster or a really well-used porta potty.
Tragic news in the World Cup. Police are investigating the death of South Africa's Jaden Adams, who was found dead at a home in Cape Town. He was just 25 years old and had just returned from the tournament, playing a total of 3 matches. No cause of death yet, but reports say Adams is grieving the loss of his grandmother, who had just died weeks ago. A moment of silence was held in his honor before the World Cup quarterfinal between England and Norway. The dream rematch between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather Jr. is still very much alive. That's according to Pacquiao's Promotions CEO, who says business issues and not the fighters are what delayed the highly anticipated showdown. More in this report by Zeus Valdez of Abante.
Manny Pacquiao Promotions CEO Jas Matur has dismissed speculation that Floyd Mayweather Jr. walk away from a planned rematch with Manny Pacquiao, insisting both boxing icons remain fully committed to making the fight happen. Matur said the proposed September match was only put on hold because of a complicated business issue, stressing that the delay was never caused by either Pacquiao or Mayweather.
Absolutely. Floyd's not backing down from this, and neither is Manny. Neither of them are backing down from it. Yeah, there's never been any instance that you know, again, as I said earlier, Floyd has never backed out of a fight in his life. I don't think he's going to back out of a fight today.
They want this fight to happen. We all want.
They both want this fight to happen.
The promotions chief also came to Mayweather's defense, saying the delays stem from business complications that are currently being resolved.
For the record, this whole mess that happened is not really Floyd's fault, but we have to untangle it. It's a very complicated and complicated situation. Speaking in a neutral level here, as a business person, right? Why would I go and fight someone or go do something when my deposits and my money didn't come to me? Manny understands because I took the time to explain to Manny exactly what's been going on here from day one.
Despite the setback, Matur said Pacquiao is still targeting a return to the ring this year before shifting his focus to the long-awaited showdown with Mayweather.
That's the plan, yes. There's a plan to have a fight for this year and then to roll into next year with the big fight. Everybody wants to see Floyd and Manny one more time. That's what's going to break all records. That's what's going to be the most viewed event again in today's era, in the streaming era.
While the timeline has changed, Jas Matur remains adamant that the Pacquiao-Mayweather rematch is far from dead, with Pacquiao still expected to fight before the end of the year, as both camps continue to work towards one of boxing's most anticipated showdowns. Zeus Valdez, Abante.
Some of the country's top pickleball talent faced off in a battle for the inaugural Trio Challenge title of SM Active Hub. Here's Sheila Salaysay with the story.
The country's growing pickleball community took center stage as the first ever SM Active Hub Pickleball Trio Challenge Grand Finals brought together the tournament's best teams in a celebration of competition, community, and active living. The top teams from 5 qualifying legs marched into SM Pickleball at 4 Ecom Center, all aimed to become the tournament's inaugural champions. After months of qualifying rounds held across SM Supermalls, the country's top pickleball trios battled it out in a day filled with teamwork, strategy, and intense rallies.
I think this was a very different tournament because it's the battle of the champions. So yeah, it was, all the games were so close for us, and grabe yung mga teams na sumali here, sobrang gagaling. So what a good experience.
Yung goal as a girl is not to create so much, but to set them up and also to be very, very consistent.
Honestly, I think one of the takeaways with the tournament today was resilience and being happy, no? Syempre, it's a serious tournament, but at the same time, you need to be happy and enjoy. Outside the tournament or outside pickleball, we are also good friends. And I think that's one of the big takeaways, no? Our chemistry is really good.
The tournament capped off with the crowning of its first ever champions, marking another milestone for the fast-growing sport in the Philippines. More than the medals, the event highlighted how pickleball continues to unite players of all ages and skill levels through competition and community. Today, SM Supermalls is home to 86 pickleball courts across 29 malls, making it the country's largest mall-based pickleball destination.
Main driver is pickleball is really hard to stop. You know, when you try to play, it's really very addicting. And we've seen the growth not only in the United States, but also in Southeast Asia and now in the Philippines. So there's that demand, and we at SM want to be part of giving players more opportunity to play. We want our malls to be a place where you can compete, where you can be together and belong.
As more courts open across the country and more communities embrace the sport, SM hopes to inspire even more Filipinos to stay active. Sheila Salaysay, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
We now now have the 10th tropical cyclone for 2026. The storm Haishen, given the local name Josie, was last spotted over 1,000 kilometers east of southeastern Luzon. It's been downgraded to a tropical depression. There's also a low-pressure area spotted west of extreme northern Luzon, but it's still outside Philippine territory. Good news is both systems would have no direct effect on any part of the country. Josie is expected to stay in the eastern boundary and will eventually weaken. The prevailing system today is still the Habagat, which is seen to bring rains over the western sections of northern Luzon. Looking at the rainfall forecast, scattered rains and thunderstorms for a lot of areas from Cagayan, the Ilocos region, central Luzon, and also in Calabarzon. Rains could get heavy over the Cordillera region, so be alert for possible flooding and landslides. Better weather for the central Philippines, just localized thunderstorms for some areas like Antique, Negros Oriental, Bohol, and also over eastern Samar. But still a lot of moisture farther south. Bukidnon, Surigao del Sur, and the Davao region should see bouts of heavy rains. We also see wet weather for the rest of Mindanao, especially in the evening. Scattered rains and localized thunderstorms for the Zamboanga provinces, Lanao del Sur and Lanao del Norte, and also for Cotabato. That's how skies are shaping up. Remember to check Pag-asa's rainfall advisories in your location. Classic board game Monopoly is coming to life in a new Netflix competition. Netflix is casting contestants for the new series where 12 players will compete for a chance to win a $2 million prize. They will play on a life-size board using strategy, alliances, and deal-making. More importantly, avoid bankruptcy to be the last person standing. The series is set to premiere in the fall of 2027. A Filipino high school glee club has brought home top honors from an international choral competition in Prague. Our Europe correspondent Dick Villanueva has the story.
Glee club has received 26.6 points, and that is the gold medal.
Miriam College High School Glee Club won 2 gold awards and a special prize at the recent Musica Orbis Prague Festival 2026. Musica Orbis Prague Festival 2026 was held July 9 to 13. It invites the best choirs and orchestra to Prague for the International Choral Festival competition. The MCHS Glee Club is composed of students in grade 8 and 12 and some alumni. There are 37 members formed this year under the leadership of Mrs. Nancy Roman, conductor of choirs. According to Nancy, this is not their first international choral festival competition. It seems they started competing in 2010 and stopped during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020.
No, it's not the first time we joined an international competition. Actually, we started joining way back in 2010. And then the next one was in 2012. Almost every 2 years, we join an international competition, but that stopped during the pandemic in 2020.
She was proud of the outcome of the competition because the students were doing academic work at the same time.
I am very proud of them, obviously, considering that we only started training seriously this May because we cannot really train too much during the school year because they're busy with their academic workload. So I'm really proud of their progress, and I think na-stretch ko naman yung kakayanan nila. So, magandang exposure po ito para sa kanilang lahat.
They competed against Estonia, Germany, Belgium, the United Kingdom, and Lithuania. It was not just the spectators. Even the judges were impressed by the blending of voices despite the different age range, with the youngest at 13 years old.
Well, the judges commended us. They said that ang ganda daw ng blending ng mga bata, to think na iba-ibang age range kasi nga may batang-bata as young as 13, tama ba? 13 and all the way to 18. May ilan-ilan na akong alumna na sumali, 5 sila. So, medyo malaki yung age range. So, yung judges commended us for that because napatunog namin sila ng parang walang difference ang age nila.
They won 2 gold awards with a rating of 26.6 out of 30 in the Sacred Music category B6 and 27.7 out of 30 in the Youth Choirs and Restricted Repertoire category A6. They were also given a special prize for excellence in choral sound. Dick Villanueva, Bilyonaryo News Channel, Prague, Czech Republic.
That's the Midday Report. I'm Mai Rodriguez. See you again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Stay informed and stay safe.